Cool. Hey guys, so my name is Brad Bowers and I'm going to be giving you a walkthrough today of HSMWorks. I'm right here, just make a part to kind of help with the teaching just for the basic introduction. Yeah, so in SolidWorks, when you open up a part and you want to use HSMWorks, what you're going to do is you're going to come over here to this CAM tab, and it gives you all these options up here. And then over here in this window, what you're going to want to do is instead of selecting the feature manager, you're going to come over here to CAM manager. And you can see I've already done a couple things on here, but first thing you're always going to do when you get started is you're going to come up and you're going to create a new job. And inside the job is where you define where your origin is located and also the original stock size that you're going to be working with. You can see that when I open it up, it did give me an origin, and it also tried to match it just with stock size. And so if you look right here, it gives the option to do turning or milling. So we're going to make sure that we're going to select milling on this. Then when you come down, and you can see the option where it has stock right here. There are a couple different things you can do. I see there's relative size box, fixed size box. With a fixed size box, you can actually specify exactly what size the box is that you have. And then also you can do cylindrical from solid, and something I like is extruded from sketch. So in here I made another sketch. It was a 6 by 6 inch, just square. And I was able, because I made that, I can extrude from that sketch. And I'm just gonna specify the depth right now. And that's one of my favorite ways to do this. And another thing is we have to specify our origin, or where you're going to set your offsets. And generally we always set them up against this back wall because that is a part of the vise that does not move. So I always like to do the top left, so we're going to change the origin to there. And right here you see stock and orientation. I got pretty lucky on this one because my X and Y's are how they should be. So I just have your X going off like that and your Y pointing up, and then usually coming off the face of your part. If it doesn't work out like that, if it doesn't just naturally, show up how you want it, you're going to want to do something like this, where you come and you're going to specify your X and Y axis, and then you can actually make selections for it. And because I've done this so much, I made another sketch that has lines for it. So I'm going to go here, select my X axis. You can see it's pointing my X in the right direction. And if it wasn't, I'd be able to reverse that. But then it automatically did line up my Y, but let's go ahead and select that line for the Y, reverse the axis. And now you can see that X and Y is how we want it. And then right here, your origin, you have a couple of different options. You can do selected point, which allows you to go and click where you want it, which is generally my favorite. Or there's this, and it has a bunch of different options, which I want to say it's usually that top corner 3. So now that we have our stock set up, I'm just going to click OK. And now we're going to go into that job, and we're going to start taking material away from around the edges and from the center. Another thing I want to mention is you can see that I define as 3/4 of an inch deep or thick material, and that part of that design is only a 1/2 inch. If you want to edit the way this sits, back in here you have this stock offset option, and that'll just take it up from your piece. We're going to leave that at 0. Okay, now for putting in toolpaths, what we're going to do is we're going to come up here. You can see these different options. We have drilling, 2D milling, 3D milling, multi-axis milling, and turning. Because we're going to be on a mill, we're going to come into 2D milling, which is generally what you're going to use. It'll be pretty rare you need something other than that. And there are quite a few options in here. You have your facing and then different methods of removing material. And for taking away material, generally we're going to use either 2D adaptive or 2D pocket. We're going to select both, or we're going to go through and use both of them to start out with. Let's do that adaptive milling. You can see the very first thing when you click on it is it opens up the different options within it, and the first thing we'll do is select a tool. HSMWorks has a pretty extensive library, and to search through it, you can just come here on the left, click by type, and it gives you a list of just different tools that HSMWorks already has inside it. So just come here to flat end mill, and we're gonna find a 1/2" end mill. Something you might notice is that it does have spindle speeds and cutting speeds already, or cutting feed rates already. Do not trust those. When you are machining, you should always calculate those numbers for yourselves and then enter them in. And so now let's just select this one. If we go back to that library, you can see it's right here. And if you right click on it, it'll give you this option to edit. And this is where you can see all that information about it. If you want to change the dimensions on this cutting tool, you could do that. And then if you go right here, you can see the spindle speeds and feed rates, as well as number of flutes. Please always remember to adjust your feeds and speeds when you're doing this. Do not trust the HSMWorks feeds and speeds. So when we have it selected, then we're going to come over here to this next tab, it's geometry, and we're going to select what we want to do. Because we're adaptive, let's just say let's go ahead and do this inside right now. And there are a couple different things you can do. You can select all the faces that you want to remove the material from. It does work, but my favorite thing to do is I just like to come in here and select a line on the bottom, because that will tell you that tells it the depth to go a little better, and it also automatically selected the entire thing. And then right here you have this option of machine cavities, and that just tells it whether you want to be machining on the inside of that selection or on the outside. And so we're going to leave that on right now. And then next, if you come here to heights, it shows you all the different heights, such as clearance height, retract height, top, and then bottom. And if you click on these, each one has different options. So we're just going to go ahead and leave it at from stock top. And then right here, you can see that it automatically selected from the contour, which is the depth that we do want to go. We can go ahead and change that to stock bottom, which is going to be the same in this case. And let's say I was planning on facing off the rest of that extra material later. So I can go and say I want to go 15 thou below that stock bottom, or below the model bottom. Now if we come over here, it gives us some more options. Something you always want to be aware of is it has this option right here of stock to leave. If you do not deselect this, it'll leave extra material in here. And then something really nice is it actually gives you the option of how much material you want to remove on each pass. So right now you can see it's set at 0.2 inches. We could change that and go full cutter depth. It's a bad idea though, so let's leave it at 0.2. And then over here, there's just some more options. Another nice thing about using the adaptive clearing is it gives you this option for multiple depths. So let's say you're doing this in still and you don't want to be trying to take off a 1/2 inch still. At times you can actually come in here and specify and say, okay, instead of a 1/2 inch, let's do the step downs of 0.2. And so if we select OK, it's going to come and it's automatically going to generate those paths for us. So you can see right here, the paths were generated. And if you want to check and make sure that's doing what you want, just come over here, select the tool path you want, or the operation you want, and then click stock simulation. When you do that, it'll open up just that the material that you specified before. And then all you have to do is come over here, click play, and it's going to go through and do that operation. And you can adjust the speed at which it does it here. So we're just going to watch it, make sure it's doing what I specified. Okay, so that looked really good. You can see that it came down a little bit below my part, just like I said. So like that. And now